Hello, welcome to Stan's Ibrox. I'm your host, Curry, and tonight I'm joined by a very, very, very special guest, my brother in arms. My introduction to this man, uh, but the only man that I know that has got a better shirt collection than Liberace. When Gene Roddenberry was doing Star Trek, he actually modelled the cool, calm, emotionless Ranger supporter that would be Spock. That's how I can describe this man. Bill, thank you so much for coming and joining me, mate.
Oh, absolutely my pleasure, Curry. And I'm sorry for actually being a wee bit shabbily dressed tonight. I'm just wearing a hoodie, which I don't normally do, but I was playing fives and then ran home, threw my dinner down my throat, and I thought, right, I better get on live. So I've not actually had the chance to get changed into something nice.
I'm a bit upset. I was expecting one of your classics to be on tonight, so I was a wee bit upset. Just get all the usual rubbish out the way first of all, guys. Everybody that's here, thank you so much for coming. It's always appreciated. It's a bit of a busy schedule tonight for Rangers pods. You've got Club 22, you've got the Rangers Journal, you've got the Rangers Rabble. They're all on the night. Friday night's the Rangers night, so I'm competing against quite a few folk. But I know the guys that come in here are all the usuals and that. So if it's your first time here, consider subscribing, get the numbers up. I'm sitting at 322 subscriptions just now, with over 10,000 views. So I'm well happy with that. Right, on to your favourite subject, Bill. Rangers. Last night, Benfica 2, Rangers 2. Before the game, I'm like, if we can keep in this game, we're laughing. And take it to Ibrox, I think we'll do pretty well. After the game, I'm sitting, I'm going, I can't believe we actually drew 2-2 with this lot.
Well, I don't know. Unlike you, I was actually quite bullish. I was saying on the Gallant Few podcast, I think at the weekend there, that I was expecting us to win by two clear goals, and I ended up saying 3-1. And do you know what? We would have won 2-0 probably by the two clear goals, but for a really weird penalty and a really strange Connor Goldson OG, which I'm sure we'll get on to talk about. But overall, do you know what? I think, yeah, the objective was probably stay in the tie, and we've more than done that. And I think, we take this mob back to Ibrox next week, see if we get an early goal under the lights. I think their arses will collapse, and I think we'll take a few off them because they're no that good and they're no strong defensively at all.
Well, to say that they're not that good, I wouldn't go that far, to be honest with you, Val. But maybe I think the way that we set up and the team that we put out, the when I put in my starting 11, the only difference that I had was I would have had Silva through as a false nine, Lawrence on the left, and I know it's going to be controversial. I was putting Roof up front instead of Dessers. I still think we had a really attacking good side last night out. For the amount of injuries we've got just now are absolutely mental.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a really, really strong side we put it last night.
It was, and it was a good attacking side. And Philippe Clement said in his press conference, I think the night before the game, that he was planning to go over there and have a goal. He wasn't going over there to sit deep. My starting 11 that I predicted was probably most of the same players, but a wee bit wide of the mark because I was, overthinking it a wee bit and in absolute fantasy land come kick off that we were going to play a 3-5-2, which didn't happen at all. But it was absolutely fine in terms of the lineup, and I thought we handled them well. And I know what you're saying about an attacking lineup, but I also thought that when we needed to defend, we defended really well, and we defended to the front in a lot of ways. But it was just about the commitment out of possession, which we were mostly out of possession in that game last night. I thought everybody in the team was really committed, really all sticking in together, putting their bodies on the line and working for it. And I was really, really proud of the team for that. We've seen their arses collapse before in games. We've seen them shy away from putting their bodies on the line, but they definitely didn't do that last night.
Well, Sharpie's come on. He says he's glad to come and tune in because he's always waiting for one of my rants. Now, well, I'll probably have two rants or two smaller rants, maybe three actually. But obviously, I'm glad I've got you on, Bill, because you'll be able to shine a different light. Because I know you don't, you tend not to agree with me quite a lot. I tend to go overboard quite a lot. Going through the goals, mate. First goal, absolutely tremendous. Good ball played in for Silva. Into Diamonde. Diamonde, absolutely tremendous cross. And Lawrence is there to head it in. He actually said, I think, I was reading that somebody said that when he was actually talking about it, he actually shut his eyes when he did it. So, in the back of it. So, 1-0 up. I'm ecstatic. I'm like, that'll do me. And
Aye,
my first thought was, right, let's hold on to this. That's all I wanted. Let's
same.
hold on to this. Because I thought, if we can weather the storm, because up until then, they had a couple of forwards forward, but I don't think they get at us all that much. They're a lot of the ball. But as soon as we got that goal, that I thought that was the changer, and you seen there was quite a reaction for their crowd as well. I mean, the stadium was half empty as well. It was pretty disappointment for this stage of Europa Cup. You would think it would be an absolutely chock-a-block stadium, but it was actually quite quiet. So I was quite surprised at that. But first goal, mate, what was your thoughts?
So I think on the stadium thing, I think Lisbon was the subject of severe weather warning last night. So I don't know if that was maybe part of the reason for it. Aye, Tavran incoming. I think what we normally do when we're on things together, Curry, is you have a right good rant, and then I tell you you're a wido for it. So I'm looking forward to that because
Aye,
I'm looking forward to that because I've not done that in weeks and weeks. It feels like maybe months since the
oh, you'll
last
be able to call
Portugal
me
game.
beard in a while, the right, mate. You're allowed
Aye.
to say it. You're allowed to say anything you want in this pod. See, this is no like your other pods, your professional ones where you need to watch what you're saying. See, in this one, you can say whatever you fucking want.
That's all right. Long-term viewers of the Gallant Few will know that I don't swear very much at all. So I tend to try and keep it to minimum. But it's nice to have a bit of license for you, Curry. I appreciate that. So, the first goal. Do you know what I think? Is that Sterling is in the box and actually makes a run to the near post as Diamande comes to the byline. And I think he takes three defenders with him. So that makes so much space for Lawrence to run into. What a beautiful wee chip across with Diamande. That was excellent. I thought Diamande had a brilliant game last night, and again, I'm sure we'll come on to talk about him. But Lawrence's finish is good. Header doing, nice and low into the corner, no much the keeper could do. And his celebration was cool. But like you, I didn't see the celebration or anything because I was too busy jumping up in my bloody living room. I'm sure I jumped up onto the couch and ran across it and jumped down the other side. And I'm a tall guy. If people who know me in real life will know I'm about 6'4". So I think I probably jumped up and cracked my head in the ceiling and then back down the other side of the couch and then running about the living room like an absolute dafty, fucking probably terrified the guinea pigs. And then I was back in the chair and that was me. I was catching my breath and I thought, a minute or two later after kick-off, I thought, right, we're going to have a bit of a storm to weather here because, they're a good side going forward. I mean, they've got fucking World Cup winners in their team, they're no mugs. When I said they were poor, I meant more defensively. So I thought we're going to have to weather a storm here. We're going to have them come at us. But much as they did have most of the ball after that and played some nice football in terms of passing it around, quite slick and whatnot, I don't think they had too many clear-cut chances. Certainly didn't create anything that I would call a sitter, And obviously there were moments after that where we were defending well, but also Jack Butland made some good saves and stuff. But yeah, like yourself, mate, absolutely delighted when the first goal went in. Couldn't contain myself. And then, yeah, sort of started to think about how, okay, it's 7 minutes gone. We've got 83 minutes now to defend this lead.
Well, that's the exact thing I was thinking, mate. It was like, right, it's only 7 minutes. They've got a great goal, but wait a minute, we've got a lot of time to bloody have to go through this. Because maybe we scored a bit too early. I was thinking, what jumped out in my mind, and I hate saying it, it was Liverpool. I
Uh,
was thinking, oh no, here we go. They're going to just absolutely come after. But I thought I thought the full team did really well. I think they limited what they were doing. There were certain points that I seen that I didn't like. We'll talk about that when I go into my rant. Then the second goal, that's not a penalty, Bill. Even by the rules of the game. Now, it's been posted on social media. They've been talking on the television, on all the channels and all that. It's not a penalty by the rules of the game. So why was that given?
My thoughts, right, before last night's game, my understanding of the handball rule was if you hit the ball or it comes off any part of your body and then strikes your arm or hand, it's not a handball offence. After seeing that, and I mean, the referee goes to the monitor and sees multiple angles, and I know people are saying, "Oh, he didn't see the angle that shows it can have supersede," but we were shown that multiple times, and I'm assuming the referee saw that. But whatever, if that was a penalty, then I've got absolutely no idea now what the handball rule is, so I don't even feel qualified to comment and say whether or not it was a penalty. But to my mind, no, it wasn't. I think for Suter, his arm is very high. You know, he jumps up like bloody Superman, and I don't know if maybe the referee's taking that into account about how high his arm is. But the real thing is, like we can't get an explanation from a referee. So I'm accepted that the penalty got awarded and they scored it and whatever. That's fine. I live with that. I would just like to understand why it was a penalty. And there's a lot of speculation and a lot of debate, but nobody with an authoritative opinion has really come out. Nobody that actually knows the rule and knows what they're talking about. No referee has said this is why it was a penalty. And you do miss that, unfortunately, because you don't get a proper explanation of the decisions. When it went, they were showing the replays of it, and the commentator was talking about the referee possibly going to the monitor. I thought, nah, well, the VAR team will just watch that and realise it hit his head because we saw it on the TV. And I couldn't believe it when the referee got called to the monitor. And even when he did, I'm going, well, surely he's going to stick with his original on-field thing that it wasn't a penalty. Totally baffled at the time, mate.
I don't actually. Overall, I thought the referee didn't have a brilliant game. To be honest with you, there was a couple of things. One of the guys in the channel was saying I'm going to have a rant. I think it was Paul. Said I'm going to have a rant at a certain player for Benfica. I certainly will be. But one each, thinking right, half time, get to half time, then get
Aye.
things sorted, then come out. Midway day we go out, and I think this is a better goal than the first one, Bill. The pass by Silva into the middle, and Mr. Swiss Army knife, I'm going to call him, because he can play in any position in that pitch, runs through for nowhere and just slots one in. It's 2-1, and that's me. I'm doing what you're doing. I'm running about the living room like an idiot. The dogs look at me as if I'm a bloody idiot. I can't believe that we're doing it, and I start believing that we can do this now. At 2-1, I'm like that. They've hurt us in certain ways, but they've not really. I wouldn't say that they've really came right into the game and managed to cut us open. So I'm thinking, right, 2-1, that'll do us. I think we'll score again. What's your thoughts on the
Well,
second goal, mate?
it's funny because when we went ahead before half time, uh, like I don't remember really thinking at one each that was it. I thought we would get another goal. I really did. And I hadn't seen enough of them going forward to think that they were, going to cut us open or be a huge threat. Like I said, they were playing some nice passes, but nothing hugely effective in the final third. I didn't jump up and down to celebrate this goal because, when the ball's floated in by Tavernier and their goalkeeper comes a long way and clatters Connor Goldson. Goldson goes down. He's lying down in the box. The ball goes out left, out wide, and ends up at Silva. But all the while, I could see that Goldson was still down in the box.
See, I missed
And
That's how much attention I was paying to Golson. I never even seen that. It wasn't until afterwards that I seen him
aye,
lying down, and I never actually seen the collision between the goalkeeper and Goldson at all, even through the replay, because I think,
Okay.
as I said, me celebrating, then obviously brought down to earth because it get put to VAR, and you're like, oh, no, surely not, no, no,
Aye.
no,
Well,
no, no.
that's why I'm saying I didn't really celebrate it so much at the time. I sort of get that, yes. But then I'd seen Goldson on the ground. The ball comes across. Dessers looked offside to me, and I think he probably was, but he didn't touch the ball or whatever. Um, but actually, it comes out of nothing. It's got no right to be a goal anyway. I mean, you look at where Sterling comes from. He runs into the box, nobody's tracking him, and he must run a good 20 yards to get on the end of that ball and just tap it in cool as you like. Absolutely, sublime finish. I know he can't really miss for there, but just cool and composed, and the fact that he saw that run. But as I say, I sort of gave it a wee celebration at the time, but I was half expecting. I don't know on what grounds I was half expecting the goal to be overturned, but I just was expecting that that could be the case. And it's one of those things about VAR in football nowadays is that a lot of the time you're afraid to celebrate a goal.
Aye,
So when the goal, and the thing is, when there's been about 3 minutes of VAR chat. I don't know how long it was last night before they confirmed that the goal was going to stand, but it felt like fucking about 20 minutes. But when you get to the end of that period, you're relieved that the goal has been awarded. But the moment's gone, you can't jump up and down then, and well, you don't, celebrate. But do you know what? I thought it was a great ball across for Silva. Absolutely sliced through the defence. Dessers misses it, but it's behind him anyway. But the run for Sterling, to see that, to have that vision, that was just magnificent. That's his first career goal, senior goal. And I think he said in his post match interview, he was talking about how he's been telling the other guys in the team that he's saving it for a big European game. So he certainly did that last night. I was really chuffed for him because, like you're talking about the Swiss Army knife and all that. I really like Dujon Sterling. I like his work rate. I like his attitude. I think he's a good player and brings a lot to the team. He's no a winger, like you can see that he's no a winger, but he does a job for us in that role. He's physical. He wins turnovers. He helps Tav when he's over on the right. All of that. I just think he's a magnificent asset to have in the team. And if he can score a couple more goals as well, that'd be really welcome.
aye, mate. I really, really do like the boy. He gives 100% all the time, and that's all I can ask for a player. And it's not only that he does give 100%, he's good with it as well, and that's been in every position except maybe down the left-hand side. I didn't think he was as good, but every other position he's played, I think he's made it his own. And to be perfectly honest with you, he's probably one of the first ones in the team sheet now. Now, second half, mate, we'll go into the last goal. It's not the first time this has happened since this guy's been here. He's a guy that I constantly criticise. It's a guy that I actually wasn't wanting to re-sign a contract. I thought the one thing that Goldson has got, mate, is he's fit, but his defending errors cost us, and they cost us big. And again, he did it again. Now, I'm not going to just blame Goldson on this one because I think Jack Butland should have maybe have gave him a shout. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh with Butland, but there was three players all involved, right? And where that ball came in, one of them should have known that we were nowhere near him to either let it go. And the guy that I think could see it better was probably Jack Butland. Am I being that harsh on Jack Butland? Am I being harsh on Goldson? But he's capable of this error, mate, and it's cost us every bloody time.
Um, I don't know if you're being too harsh. And to be honest, when I was thinking about talking to you the night about this game, I was expecting quite a heated rant about Goldson for you. I'm surprised that you've restrained yourself there because that's, gone is the curry we used to know. I think 6 months ago you'd have been apoplectic about
No,
that. No, you're
I'm still saving that, mate. I'm saving that for
okay.
somebody else.
Fair dues. No, I mean I don't think you're being too harsh. Butland probably can give him a shout. Golson has to take responsibility. He's the boy. He's headed the ball into his own net, right? As a defender, a cross ball in, it's your instinct is to attack it with your head, and really you want to try and get it somewhere that isn't your own net. Ideally, that'd be what you want. Um, but I don't know. I mean, for me, like, I wouldn't be too critical. Every defender has a handful of own goals in their career. It's unavoidable, right? And I think the one stat about Connor Goldson that I heard is that he's now got the most own goals in the Europa League. It's three,
Why am
which
I no?
I think
Why
is
am I no shocked?
yeah. But and I know what you're saying, right? Connor Goldson, he does get a lot of criticism. I always think he's unfairly criticised. He's not like the best defender in the world, he's no, because he wouldn't be at Rangers, and he has got a mistake in him. But I've said this repeatedly about Goldson, Suter, and whatever other Rangers defender you care to mention. See, defenders that don't make mistakes, they don't play for Rangers. They play for Liverpool and AC Milan and fucking Real Madrid. We have to accept that our defenders are going to have a mistake in them from time to time. I know you're saying it kind of costs us and all that, but maybe 3 or 4 goals a season, Connor Goldson maybe costs us. I don't know. I don't know what the numbers would be. I think we still win a lot more games than Connor Goldson costs us. And you've said yourself, he's fit. He's actually, I think, the Rangers player to have made it to 300 games within the fewest days of signing for the club. It's like 1,500 days or whatever the start was a wee while ago that came out when it was his 300th game. And I know it's like an old cliche, but sometimes the best ability is availability. Like he's always there. And I think 99% of the time, he acquits himself fine. He handles almost everything fine. I was a bit annoyed at him on Saturday, getting bullied by Theo Bayer. I think that boy's a player, by the way.
No,
And
Goldson had a horror show, didn't he?
yeah, but normally, if Goldson has a bad game, I like kind of like this about him that he does tend to bounce back okay and have a good game. And actually, I thought defensively last night, I know he scored an OG, but apart from that, I thought he had a really good game. Again, he was doing that thing committed and putting his body on the line and being quite intelligent in his play. He was getting across the cover tab well. So the OG's a scunner, but I'm not going to be too critical of him for that because, I've headed a ball 1,000 times in my career. Listen to me, I've never had a fit of a career. I play fives. But
That's
I've hit the ball 1,000 times and only 100 of them went where I wanted them to go. So it's bloody hard. He misplaces one. And as a defender, if you make a mistake, the defender or goalkeeper, if you make a mistake, sometimes it's going to end up in a goal. And your mistakes get criticised a lot more sometimes than it would if you were a midfielder or a forward.
nah,
No, I'm
sorry, Bill, when you
quite
go, mate.
sorry, I was only going to. I'm quite forgiving of Goldson. I think, I don't think he's cost us the tie or anything like that. I think we'll come good anyway.
That,
So
that's the reason, Bill, that I never had a real go at him because same with Paul here, Goldson saved us a few times as well. I think overall, I thought Goldson threw his body in the line. I think he really done well in the defence. The same with Suter as well, though he had that mistake. I thought he did really, really well for the rest of the game. It's the two big bloody stupid errors that we get that
yeah,
cost us. Uh, the rest of the game, mate. Once it went to 2-2, it was basically backs to the wall. The full side, I could see them. They were all tiring, heavy legs. We were struggling. We've had some big games we've had to play, and obviously we'll talk a wee quick mention on our next game is the cup game against Hibs. The rotation we're going to need it, and I can see a couple of players that are not too fancied are going to be used against Hibs, unfortunately, and hopefully we'll be able to pull it through. But we'll go into the players now, mate. Then we'll cut it all out. It's a bit of a habshab tonight. Butland up pulled off some absolutely tremendous saves. I think he probably saved the tie for us overall with 2 or 3 absolutely outstanding saves. So Butland gets a pass for me, even though I'm no. Somebody said to me the day on Twitter, Bill, that he's got the aura of the goalie, and I says,
mhm,
in a way, aye. But the thing is, when you had the goalie, you were always confident that he'd pull off a save at a penalty. That's something we don't get for The feeling I never ever get with Butland is if there's any penalties, I've never ever get the feeling that he's going to actually save it.
Yeah. I think
But
that's maybe an exposure thing because I've no seen him saving a penalty yet. I'm sure he's capable of doing it,
he
you know.
saved a
But like,
half penalty once.
did he?
Aye, years ago when Tav, what team did he come for? Bloody forgot it's been that long.
Was it Wigan or something like that?
Aye, but apparently he saved a Tavernier goal, so that's
Wow.
only the one penalty save that I've actually seen.
No, I've never seen Jack Butland save a penalty, and I'm sure he will. He'll save a few. Remember, goalkeepers like only save something like 10% of penalties, if that, So uh, I would like to, but I know what you're saying because last night, like that boy Stefano Di Maria, it's a fucking bullshit penalty. It's shite. See if Butland goes the other way, he says it may bother, and it's just about going the right way. And but I wasn't sitting there going, okay, he's got a good chance of saving this. I expected it to go in. And I mean, to be fair, Angel Di Maria is a World Cup winner. Do you expect him to score a penalty, right? But if that had been last season and it was Alan McGregor in goal, I'd say there's a fair chance he would have, I'd be sitting there going, okay, I think we've got a good chance that McGregor's going to save this year. So I know what you're saying, and like Gorham was the same, he saved a lot of penalties. But I'm sure it's something, Jack Butland will hopefully get shows that he can do. I think every other aspect of his game's very good. He did have a couple of concerning moments last night with his
One of the
distribution.
kickouts,
There was a couple of well,
aye.
one kick out and one throw, I think, were wide or off mark or whatever, and went straight to one of their players. But in general, I think his distribution in games is usually very good. So he's had a couple of mistakes. What you're going to
Aye.
say? It didn't cost us.
But we spoke about goals and we spoke about Suter. As I said, apart from the two howlers, I think they did reasonable wide. Well, sorry. We'll go on to the left side first. Yilmaz. I'm going to give it away. He was my man of the match. I thought he had an absolutely tremendous game. He had one bad cross ball where he just kicked it straight out for a bye kick. I don't know what happened there. Where he lost his foot or he slipped or whatever. But overall, I thought he had the fully that Benfica to be forward line in his pocket.
He was absolutely tremendous. He was, I think, I used the word colossal to describe him, which is funny given his wee size, but he was just absolutely magnificent. And I'm talking defensively, he wasn't doing as much as he would normally do going forward, but that's understandable given the level of opposition. We are playing Benfica. I thought he was brilliant. Just wasn't letting them get anything past him. Just even when there was, and a lot of the time there was two coming at him. The winger and the fullback, both coming up, and he managed to get the ball off them nearly every time. And when he wasn't winning the ball and turning it over, he was blocking it and stopping the cross coming in. He was making tackles. He was winning headers. He was absolutely brilliant.
Would you
And
like?
I'd say,
Would you like to do that, Paul? Here, I think he's taking the piss actually.
oh,
Aye.
he's obviously no right.
He must be into that firewater a bit early tonight. It's not like you, Paul, to come out with a comment like that.
Redvan was definitely my man of the match. I think he was excellent, and I've said for ages now, as again long term gallant viewers will be aware. I've said for ages Redvan's an absolutely smashing player. I've always really liked him, and I'm so glad that he's finally stepped up and made that jersey his own at left back.
I'm glad to see Paul's came back. I'm glad. I was like, what? It's not like you, Paul, because you're usually quite sensible with players. Right. Now for the rant. And I've been waiting to do this because he's been playing so well, so nobody able to say anything. Tavernier was fucking right rotten. He was absolutely garbage last night. I don't think he had one forward pass collected. His corners were shocking, and he's defending. I don't know how many times that I don't know the Benfica player, but he turned him inside out. He was having an absolute nightmare, Bill. But after my wee rant there, you still need to have that man in because I do think he has a presence. He's obviously not the captain that I would want, but there's obviously there four managers can't be wrong. So it's obviously it's my own personal feeling about him with a bit captaincy. But you need to have that guy in because he's always capable of scoring a screamer for a dead ball situation. So it's just one of the things that we need to deal with. But last night, Bill, I thought he was really bad last night, mate.
I'm going to disagree, Curry, and you must have watched
I
the full game.
fucking knew you would say that. I knew you would say that. Like, come
Oh,
on, come
I've
on.
missed this. I have missed this. Or the two and show and a bit tab. We used to do a lot of this. No, I mean, he wasn't at his peak last night, right? It wasn't his best game for Rangers. And he did make some mistakes, and he wasn't at his best going forward. But I thought he defended pretty well. Uh, I'm not having that. 27. Aye, right. I went by all your heat. No, I thought he defended well. He again put his body in the line. I remember 3 or 4 really important blocks that he made. He did certainly have some unforced errors. You know, he made some bad passes and gave the ball away. He wasn't the only one last night.
No, no, he
You
wasn't,
know,
mate. He wasn't.
and Lundstrom, especially in the second half, Lundstrom looked really leggy and gave the ball away a lot.
Now he was on
You
the
know,
next player was actually going to go on to Bill was John Lundstrom. By the way, I'm sorry for cutting you off, mate, but I know you've got
correct.
uh, you're limited with your time tonight because as anybody that knows Bill, Bill's quite famous in that he's a man of many talents. He's obviously got his acting career that he has to look after, and he's got to go away very soon for to see the gallant few. Where he'll be talking about Rangers again, a very posh voice. No doubt he will put on his best shirt for them instead of turning up in a fucking hoodie for me. I mean, see, the standards when you come onto this pod, the standards just drop. It's unbelievable. But as I said to you earlier on when I sent you an email, mate, I'm just going to let everybody know that you've actually got a hot date tonight, mate, haven't you?
I have. I well, do you know about the shirt thing, right? My butler is through there ironing my shirt now, and I can assure all the viewers that he'll be getting beaten very soundly later on for not having had it ready for coming on. So, you know, blame my butler, Milky. It's his fault.
Your butler. I thought I heard your butler before I came on, and I think if you called her the butler, she'd have you kick on homos.
Oh no,
So
no,
be very
she's the
careful.
she's the scullery maid.
Oh, you're a dead man. You're the couch tonight, boy. Right. John Lundstrom as well, mate. I thought that was one of his poorest games in quite a few. I
Yeah,
thought he struggled. As you said, the second half, he basically his legs went, but he wasn't the only one. I thought the whole team were to be really, really struggling by the end of the game. Or
aye,
even, there wasn't even, for 70 minutes on, I would say, that's when we really started to tire. You could
yeah,
see it in all the players. Midfield, mate. We spoke about quickly about John. Uh, Diamante, I thought was superb, mate. Uh, he's had a couple of games where he's played a couple of dodgy passes, but I think overall last night his pass was tremendous, and overall I thought he did really well, and I thought he took care of the midfield of Benfica
yeah,
last night.
and with Diamondi as well. It's not just kind of passing. You know, he reminds me in a lot of ways of Glenn Kamara, where it's actually a lot of his work off the ball that you don't always watch, you don't always see. You know, and he's maybe I know everybody's really pleased with him so far, but I wonder if he's actually a wee bit underappreciated just how good he is. I think he's a terrific player, and he's hopefully going to do really well for us.
Bill, jumping on with Paul saying there, Jack and Raskin did okay when they came on. Do you think we maybe use them against Hibs to get the rotation in, mate?
Probably, I would expect one, if not both, to start against Hibs. I have thought that, you know, the last couple of times that I've seen Raskin, he's looked miles off it. He looked okay last night, but no more than that. But I'd be confident playing the two of them against Hibs. I'm always pretty relaxed about Ryan Jack coming back in. I think he tends to hit the ground running right up until he picks up his next injury, unfortunately, which will probably be playing for Scotland in a few weeks.
Right. Next to it, we'll go to the left first. Silva. As I said, I thought Silva would play maybe a false nine last night. He was using the left. I think it was Joshua for the Rangers reviews actually said he was going to play the left. I was pretty sure it would be the middle. Uh, he had an excellent game, mate. Well,
Yeah,
he had an excellent game up to 60 minutes. Then I think he really tired. You could tell he was struggling. He was taking balls with his back and he was losing the ball quite a lot. But overall, I thought he done really well, and I think that's probably his best performance. And there's probably a chance that that's where he'll start for now on until we get a side that are going to be fit enough to come back and play. But I thought he did really well on the left, mate.
I thought he was superb. Absolutely worked his socks off. But you're right, you could see about 65 minutes on, he was just completely out of gas. You know, just totally struggling to do the basics almost because he was so tired. Um, but I was really pleased for him because that would have been a big game for him going back last night to Portugal. I did hear his press conference the other night, Wednesday night it must have been, and he seemed quite excited about going back. I listened to him. It was the first time I've heard him speaking Portuguese, and his Portuguese accent, just as an aside, he sounded nothing like what I was expecting. I was expecting quite a strong Lisbon accent for him, but he was almost sounding Brazilian in points. It was really weird hearing him speak. Um, that was strange, but I thought he had a great game last night. Hopefully, he'll stick around for the rest of the season and do well for us. Won't pick up any injuries or anything. And I wonder if we could maybe see about getting a wee loan for him next season as well. I don't know if he'll be figuring in the EPL next season or not, but that would be really nice if we could get him for a full season.
Well, that's what I was hoping. Well, I think it will all depend where we finish up in the league, mate. Who's going to be staying and who's going to be going. Uh, the other player I really liked, I thought he had yet again another good game. Every time I've seen him, I don't think he's had a really bad game so far since he's been with us, although he's been injured quite a lot. Is Lawrence? I thought Lawrence. I just think he adds so much
Yeah,
to the Rangers side. Uh, his technical ability, a couple of times the way he brings a ball down is he just cushions a ball and traps a ball. The guy is a class player, and I think we're lucky to have him here. And I'm just hoping that if we can keep him fit for long enough, he maybe be one of the ones that are going to help carry us through to maybe a cup win and hopefully a title, number 56.
yeah. Here's hoping. I'm personally, I'm saying the quadruple Curry. To be honest, I think it's on now. Nobody's convincing me otherwise. I've even been to the bookies and put a fiver on it. So we're winning the quadruple, and Tom Lawrence is going to be a key part of that. Yeah, listen, I think he's fantastic. Um, and it's a real shame how long he was out after getting that injury because we got to see a wee glimpse of him when he first came to Rangers, and I thought, oh, what a fantastic player. And then we lost him for so long, but having him back featuring regularly now, it's brilliant. I think he's like you say, it's his technical attributes, but it's also his intelligence. But he's got the work rate to match, and he can score goals, he can create, he can do everything. He's just some player.
It's going to go to the last player, mate. Uh, Mr. Treacle or Mr. Marmite, Dessers. Now, a couple of people were saying that they thought Dessers had a good game. I'm going to just say that they need to send their guide up back and get a refund because I thought he pure ghosted that game. He ran about a lot. He did. He put in a shift. I'll give him that. But he did nothing. I think he touched the ball maybe 5 times and he did nothing with it at all. It's so frustrating because I want him to do well, Bill. I really do want him to do
Yeah,
well. But whenever there seems to be a big game, I think I don't know whether the pressure gets to him or he tries too hard and he ends up his mind's out the game and he's no thinking playing about his type of hipper. Instead he's trying to compensate elsewhere. But I thought he was pretty poor, and I thought for the few minutes that Roof came on, I thought Roof looked more dangerous than him.
Yeah, Dessers did. He did a lot of running. He worked his socks off. But you're right. He wasn't doing much. And the times that the ball did come to him, he wasn't holding it up very well. You know, he needs to do better with that because in Europe, that's what we really need against a team like Benfica. When the ball comes forward, he needs to hold it up to let the rest of the team get up the park. And he just wasn't doing that last night. And it's a shame because I really like the guy. And, you know, he's come into goals recently. That was one of our big criticisms of Cyril Dessers was that he couldn't score, but he's been doing better recently. And I think, you know, hopefully we'll keep improving. But, you know, last night there was nothing there really. He was doing his usual, almost kind of getting into positions, but no quite. Roof made us look a far more dangerous prospect on the counter when he came on.
Right, well, we'll be through all the whole team, and what a couple of their substitutions. I think they all done decent. They all put in a shift, and they helped us get that 2-2. I would have bought your arm off for a 2-2. A lot of people would have said even on each. They actually scored twice over there. It lets them know that they can't drop their standard, because if they do,
Yeah,
we will do it at Ibrox, and I'm hoping with Ibrox crowd there as well. As you said, I'm hoping they shut their pants as well when they come over, because they're in for a big shock. Now, my last rant, Bill, is going to be on a Benfica player. Now, this guy technically, and he's an amazing player,
yeah.
but what a grating fucking face cheating wee arsehole, Di Maria. Now, there was I think it was Diamondi. It was after the whistle had gone. Diamondi took the ball. I don't know if he'd ever heard that ever, but Di Maria comes up and pushes him in the back of the heat like that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if an opponent lifts his hands to another player, it's an automatic red.
I I don't know about that. I certainly thought
No,
he
it
should have
is.
been punished.
No,
I
it
certainly
is.
thought he should have been punished. Is
Yeah,
this where he
he
touched his
got the
big man
yellow,
in the back of the
right?
head?
Aye. Now that was a yellow, right?
Yeah,
That should have been a red by the book, the law. As soon as you raise your hand to the opponent, it's a red card. It doesn't matter if you do that or punch
I
them.
don't know.
You
Not for
raise your
me.
hands, right?
Nah.
He went in for
And
a
listen, I
tackle.
don't.
Uh-huh. Sorry, but when you go, mate.
No, it's all right. It's not red for me. Like I don't like the guy. He's a snidey wee prick. And you know he's a diving. He just dives and cheats and breaks.
That was his second
You
yellow,
know,
mate.
it's
For me,
trying to get
that was a second yellow.
Sterling
See
sent back
when
and
it
all
tried
that.
to go for the penalty, and when it showed you back, it never even touched him, and he's
Aye.
rolling about the ground. That should have
But
been a yellow.
Carrie, see what I liked about you know, like that when Ridvan he gets the push in the back of the head and falls, and he kind of comes up, and Ridvan's a wee guy, and he's obviously trying to get at him and intimidate him or whatever. But see what I liked, Connor Goldson and Dujon Sterling ran straight over and were getting right up in his grill. And I know it was all just a bit of handbags, you know, it wasn't anything serious or whatever, it was posturing. But I liked that. I liked the togetherness in the team and the willingness to fight
I
for
bet
each other. And,
that's
you know, you're
something
not
we've
going
been
to push
missing,
my
mate.
teammates around. Yeah,
That's something we've been missing.
yeah,
And something else I was surprised. I seen a lot of the time that a few of the players were getting in the referees' ear as well. Now that's something that's been missing for Rangers as well. Is that they'll
yeah,
just accept a decision and that's it. They'll have a moan for 20 yards away, but they're not in the air going, oh, come on, what's going on here? Are you going to fix this guy out? Is he allowed
yeah.
to do this? Keep on doing it. And they kept on doing it right through the match. So I was pretty for that. But as I said, I thought that was a red. It maybe been a harsh red, but it was at least a yellow. He feigned the injury when he went down. He never even get touched. That should have been a yellow for
Yeah.
feigning it. And then he went into attack. I can't remember who it was. He went in and he nearly half them in two, but he missed them. But that's still a dangerous tackle. It should have been a yellow. The boy should have been sent off. But the way he acted, I thought the fault. In fact, the full Benfica side, I think they spat the dummy last night. And I think that's what probably maybe their problem is now. Is that
I,
they're so entitled that they think they should win, that because things don't go their way, they start spitting the dummy. And I think that's what they did last night. And I hope they do that at Ibrox as well.
absolutely. Entitled team, entitled fan base, spitting out the dummy, a manager that they all hate. Actually, it reminds me of another team. You know that Reminds me of another team that are a wee bit closer to home. But do you know what? I think once we get them across here next week, yeah, I think we'll dispatch this mob. I really do. Their arses will crumble.
Right, just before you go, Bill, right, I'm going to address Mark. Mark,
Mark's spot on.
he's not spot on. He,
He's fucking spot on, Terry.
oh, your arse, shut up, you're talking pish, right? Mark, I'm not going to say that he never had some good tackles. He did, and he threw his body in the line. I'm not going to deny that. But overall, his passing and the way he was getting turned was far too easy. That's why I thought he would never had a good game. I mean, see, this is what I seen. But I'm just wondering what that noise was. It was somebody with a motorbike outside. But that's my thoughts, Mark. But you're quite entitled. Obviously, you don't agree with me, mate. But it's I mean, you and Bill are on the same page. But Bill talks shite all the time, so I'm used to it. So, Bill, thank you so much for coming on. It's been brilliant, mate. You've calmed me down a wee bit, just a wee bit. It's been quite a quick show tonight. It's been a bit hectic as always. Everybody that came, thanks very much. You know I really appreciate it. Anybody that's brand new to the show, come in and just subscribe. It always helps me. I do this for fun. I do this to talk about Rangers, and I talk to guys like Bill. I absolutely love the bits. I wish I could be as calm as him. I really do, but I can't because I just go off my head like a numpty. But that's just me. So thanks very much for coming, everybody. You take care. Have a good weekend, and no doubt I'll speak to you on Sunday after the Hibs game. Right. Good night, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Bye.